Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time and joining us for today's webinar. For today's session, we have accelerating mobile workflows, and today's going to be a wonderful session. We have Ryan Coleman and Ben Ray from the Zerion software team presenting for us. Before we begin, we do have some upcoming iFormBuilder events that I want to make sure that you're aware of. The first one being our iFormBuilder certification program. So far, we have over 50 people who've become our FormBuilder certified in 2015, and we're looking for even more in 2016. Our next session starts the second week in February, and if you're interested, I'd be happy to give you more information on that, as well as this PDF that we're going to share with you later is clickable, and you can learn more that way. We also have our Power User Summit, and that's going to be the week of May 11th. And we'd urge you to come attend that session. It is a free session. And 2 days before that session, we have our FormBuilder certification course going on as well. So if you can come down to the DC area, that would be wonderful. We'd love to get to know you and learn what you're using iFormBuilder for, as well as have you attend our certification.
This is Ryan Coleman and Ben Ray. Ben Ray is a solutions engineer here at Zerion Software, and I'm vice president of sales at Zerion Software. And over the past couple of years, we've seen a major shift in the way that our software has been used in the marketplace. We originally went through the whole evolution of, hey, let's build the best platform for collecting good data. And then we realized that the what's next problem, in other words, what you're doing with your data once you collect it, needed to be solved. And that's really what our primary focus is in 2016. And just even in the first 20 days, we've been working with some phenomenal customers who are doing amazing things within their operations. And everything is led by a mobile form submission. But now we're actually able to bundle all of their different data sources, all of their different types of data that's interacting with their mobile worker. And it's really setting the stage for some really awesome workflows. A couple, I'm going to tell you things that you already know, but it really puts it in perspective. Forrester just put out that they're expecting 1.3 billion people to be in the workforce and mobile. That's pretty phenomenal, especially in emerging markets and everything else. But everything that we do is a part of enabling and accelerating how those mobile workers are able to do, are able to work, period. So a couple things here. I wanted to go through the evolution of the Zerion journey. In early 2000 till about 2007, 2008, we were doing custom mobile data collection apps. Everything for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and we were using these archaic Palm Pilots and whatever hardware was being chosen by our customer. At that time, it was revenue in was good revenue. Now we're at the point that we've evolved. Apple has released this thing called the App Store, and we've launched iForm, which is a consolidation of all our expertise in the custom app development into one productized feature that allowed users to build very advanced forms, to be able to have the most secure platform on the market, and then ultimately be able to collect data with or without an internet connection. Now that iFormBuilder platform has gone through its 7th iteration. So over the past 6 years, we've been able to reinvent how we have customers capturing data in the field, and it has matured to the point that enterprise customers, some operating in multinational organizations, Fortune 100, Fortune 200, Fortune 1000 companies with thousands of mobile workers, to the small regional engineering firm that's been able to completely transform how they interact with data and how they inspect everything from manholes to doing sign inspections to their environmental health and safety. All of this has been dramatically transformed. Now, what we've gone through and what our evolution is in 2016 is how do we truly accelerate the mobile workflow. Now, again, our focus is still going to be on the field team members. Everything that we're going to do is going to allow you to accelerate how the people in the field within your organizations are able to do their work and do their work better. Now, what we've identified, though, is that once you collect the data, you submit that record back to the server. There's so many different types of workflows that are processes that companies are doing. Everything from making sure that there's reporting built into your tool, to being able to have customized PDFs, to being able to have different types of workflow or different types of actions to reroute different types of orders or work orders based on series of conditions. This was a cumbersome process in the past in terms of you having to create custom web services to be able to interact the data that was collected in iFormBuilder with your existing backend systems. As we mature, as we've evolved, we're creating an ecosystem, and this ecosystem is allowing us to create an environment that allows groups to plug and play the features and the enterprise elements that are going to allow them to take their teams to the next level. This is going to be we're referring to them as a microservice and an environment that allows for Zerion mobile work, the Zerion mobile workforce to kind of take all of their different types of data collection needs and reporting needs and all the little ancillary enterprise features and bundle them into single stream solutions. So let me just jump into my SAMR model. For those of you who have been on the call here in the past, you've probably heard me talk about what is SAMR from a mobile data collection standpoint. Well, now we're going to take this to the next level in terms of what does SAMR mean for workflow automation and workflow from across your entire organization.
So Ryan, just to interrupt you quickly, to take a step back before you go into SAMR, you're talking about how we're focusing on the field team member. How would you define that person? Is that just the end user on their device, or are you talking about the people who are looking at the data, the people who are, I guess, just define what you're referring to?
Sure. So with 1.3 billion devices out in the field, what we're seeing is that there's yes, you have your engineer that's out in the field that's collecting the data about the at the job site or at the project. However, there's a whole slew of other team members or back office work that is occurring to allow for that field engineer or that person in the field with their mobile device, either walking through buildings or actually literally outside in the field capturing information. Everything that we're going to be doing is going to be mobilizing or enabling how the back office and all the reporting and all those engines that are happening to allow that field user to collect better data.
Great, that's perfect. And then before we go into SAMR as well, for those of you who are here and really excited about this, but you're at the how is it done, I don't want to give too much away, but at the end of today's session, Ben is going to be giving us a demo of some of this. So just to make sure that you stay around and stick through to see that after Ryan's done going through this.
Great. So a lot of what we're going towards is more of a philosophy for how business is done and how quickly things can happen in today's world. And so SAMR stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. For those power users that are on the call right now, you have gone through this evolution. You've started with a paper workflow or a paper form. You've then been able to augment how you actually collected that data. You're now taking pictures. When was the last time you took a picture on a paper form? Now you're capturing audio notes. You're marking those details up. You're creating workflow or skip logic and business rules into your forms. You're then able to modify the workflow so that you're redesigning how the task was done. And then ultimately, the way that the iFormBuilder platform was working or interacting with your projects, it was actually redefining how you were able to perform the original task. Now, when we look at this in terms of a full workflow automation system, the same thing is happening. Typically, we have groups right now, still today, that they've automated everything on the front end of collecting the data, and now all of a sudden they're simply they're collecting the data, they're now downloading it as an Excel spreadsheet, and then taking that Excel spreadsheet or emailing that Excel spreadsheet or sharing that Excel spreadsheet with someone else within their organization. As a result of that, what I wanted to go through here is just kind of the mindset in terms of how do we all drive our projects towards truly redefining or having transformational gains in terms of either productivity or less man hours or compliance standards being met, so that we can transform how the original process was done. So again, we're going to start with that paper form or that paper workflow, or any time that there is a paper workflow, we're simply substituting that. We're going to enhance that project by enabling different types of systems in place that are going to allow you to do everything from work order checking or spot checking, cleansing of your data in real time. You're going to be able to now automate how you're going to notify different people within the organization to kind of trigger the high level details. Now, once we cross that equator there, we're really starting to get into full-on automation. So by leveraging the API, by leveraging our new tool, our new workflow engine of Gnosis, we're going to be able to completely create a data lake that's going to allow you to digest data from all different centers of your organization, centralize your data, and then ultimately redefine how your field teams collect the data, but then also how your organization interacts with that data. So here's just a quick diagram. You can actually see the way that we redefine and the way that we automate and all the enterprise features that are added inside the system. Our goal is for you to get to that diamond standard of true redefinition, and that is going to be happening in real time. So what we're looking at here is 2016 being the year of workflow transformation. Welcome to Zerion Web Services. We are using Zerion as a workflow acceleration engine. And what we already have and what a lot of you have already interacted with was the form building, our form building engine. We also have form rendering built into the system. That's a matter of you being able to push this out. You're then able to store that data for long term. Where we're now introducing our new and latest product of Gnosis is where we're going to be able to allow you to store your data in a trust no one environment. You're going to be able to do a lot of data processing, a lot of data refining. You're going to have reporting built into your ecosystem. That reporting is going to take shape depending on what your project needs are. You're going to have dashboardings built into the system. All of this is going to allow for you to interact with your data in a much cleaner, much faster, and quicker way. Now, the neat thing is with us introducing this web services concept, almost a Lego based on solutions. So multiple Legos will create different types of houses or different types of machines that are going to allow you to take your conversation to that next level. The question marks in the top of this wheel are also unknown, because each and every one of you have very unique use cases. So what we're going to do is we're going to get you 85, 90% of the way there within the ecosystem. The extra 15% allows us to customize those solutions to allow you to do everything from, hey, I need to have a custom PDF that looks exactly like this, or I need to be able to submit web forms from my back office so that my front office is able to interact with it. Or I need to be able to create custom reports based on different types of roles and views. All of these different types of customizations or I guess common workflows or that are very specific workflows for your specific project are going to be malleable. And we're going to work with you in terms of really streamlining what that process looks like. So as you start working through this, what I'm looking at is I really want to establish that we are in the business of solving data problems. Is it data collection problems? Is it data reporting problems? Is it data visualization problems? Is it centralizing your data problems? Now, a lot of you I've had a conversation with, but at the same time, it's now a matter of how do we re-engage those conversations? And I want you to share with me, what are your deepest, darkest data problems? Everything from, I was on a call this morning and we have groups that are they basically operate or they're property managers and in the construction business around the world, and they need to be able to see in real time project access and project status, from everything from environmental health and safety, so safety reporting, down to project status, to when they walk into an existing already commissioned building, they also want to be able to have notifications sent based on their location, all the past types of workflows or inspections that they performed on that actual that actual property. Again, tons and tons of data that's going to be coming in. They're also doing tons of different types of Internet of Things sensors that are feeding data into the abyss right now. They're not leveraging that data. So that's going to be a new project that we're engaging on in terms of really making sense of the data from as many sources as they can. So I'll be reaching out to each and every one of you to kind of identify what kind of problems can we help you solve, and what do you need your Zerion platform to do for you.
All right, thank you, Ryan. So I actually had some polls that I wanted to launch to see our interest of those listeners, and one of them that I'm going to launch right now is just, what Zerion web services are you most interested in? And if you could go ahead, I just launched that poll. If you could start putting in your responses, just to give us an idea and some of the things that Ryan just presented on, how much interest you have. You can select more than one of these if more than one of these are interests of yours. All right, it looks like we have almost half of you have voted, so I'm just going to give it another second to see what our results are. And once the poll is closed, I will show everyone those results so that we can take a look at them together. All right, we have 92 have voted, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and show you the results. So Ryan, if you can see this, maybe if you close or minimize this, the web services that people are most interested in is the top one is the reports. The second one is the data storing and data refining. Then we go into form building. The last then is dashboards, and the least of interest is the form rendering. Now, can you go into a little bit more on what you're talking about when you say form rendering? Maybe there was some miscommunication on what that meant.
Sure. So form rendering is the technology that we've built that allows you to build your form in your web browser and actually send that out to the device and ensure that what you've created on the web browser is actually making its way to the device. So that's kind of an under the hood feature, but it's a part of our technology that we have protected. We've have millions of dollars in R&D invested in, and we've mastered exactly what that looks like in terms of us actually pushing a viable product into the marketplace. Great. So a couple things here. When we start looking at terms of what SAMR is offering, it's interesting to see that there's this whole idea of kind of a split between substitution, people who are still working on paper, they're trying to eliminate those processes and see value in streamlining those workflows. And then those groups that are having the conversations that we've had for the past 2 years, the what next. I collect my data. I've optimized how my field teams are bringing data into the organization. And now where the shortfall was and where we were always kind of drawing the line in the sand is that we're going to provide you with the best data possible. And we're going to say, hey, go report on it. Go do what you need to in order to make this data useful. And we're going to be trying to close that gap over the next couple months and years as our entire suite of products start to evolve. So with that, let me just start back up there. Sorry about that. Great. So what is Gnosis? We've been talking about Gnosis for about a year now. We've put some examples out there. Ben's going to be jumping into a couple workflows. He's also going to show some other, parts of Gnosis that are still under the hood, but are really enabling how groups are able to take the conversation to the next level. So we've built Gnosis as a standalone product that's enabling our team to work with customers for everything from data collection, both active and passive, to raw data storage, to refining that data. So everything from performing joins to manipulating your data to having power tools that are going to allow you to pretty much manipulate data from any source and really bring to the surface useful information. So then as that gets refined, it can be brought right back into your workflows. It's cleaner data, it's different data, it's data that actually makes sense for you to now be able to distribute that data into either other systems, other reporting engines, other types of dashboarding tools. I have so many customers that are Tableau customers that are struggling with being able to consume iFormBuilder data because of the way that they have complex workflows or complex structures. So a parent form with multiple subforms or subforms within inside of subforms, each one of them are struggling with how do I get this data to fit a non-traditional or a traditional reporting engine. So we have solutions for that, and what that allows us to do is either stretch, flatten your data, refine the data, make sure that anything that you have in place, or any of the data that you're collecting or any of the data coming in from other data sources are able to be formatted in such a way that you are in the driver's seat. And the best part of it all is that rather than you spending months or quarters or even years trying to get the right data into the system, we're able to accelerate this in a matter of weeks to a month in terms of what a traditional project will look like. So with that said, inside of Gnosis, you're going to be able to create your custom workflows. So you're creating different types of buckets. Each bucket has its own rules, and you're going to be able to elongate how that data will actually be flowing through your system, what users need to have access to that data at different levels. And this is 100% built on a trust no one infrastructure. And that trust no one infrastructure has patentable, and we're going through the whole patent process right now in terms of protecting what this technology is doing from an encryption standpoint. It's really fascinating just to even see what else is in the marketplace and how we're actually seeking different types of people who are hackers, professional hackers, to actually spend time going at our software and exposing everything. Fascinating stuff. But to continue, on the Gnosis side, you're also able to see your raw data if that's what you need to see. You're also able to structure what kind of record sets and record info does each group or each individual or each role within your organization need to see. And then ultimately, you're able to create different types of reports, everything from the graph that you see on the screen to different types of interactive reports that are going to be moving in real time. This is going to be the foundation for a lot of the web services and a lot of the different solutions that we're going to be offering for 2016, 2017, and beyond.
So is this available for people to start looking into and getting demos from our team?
Sure. So what we're able to do today is we're definitely in the process of, this is ready to go to production. We're able to take this into production. What we're able to do is also showcase and demo different types of use cases, or digest what your discovery, or have a discovery session in terms of what your data problems are, and then manipulate Gnosis to allow you to truly be able to use it. Right now, we're treating this as a tool for the inside or the internal team to really be able to structure that first project and then be able to introduce it into your organization. So yes, we're able to demo it. Yes, it's in production. We have some really neat workflows happening. It's just now a matter of project by project, it's slowly maturing and making sure that it is rock solid and everything is going at it. And we're throwing terabytes of data at this at a time. It's now a matter of finding those, your deepest, darkest data problems that we're allowed and able to go solve.
So those individuals who are interested in that, in the email that we're going to send later for scheduling a discovery period, they could schedule that with us, and we could go into that in a little bit more detail for their projects.
Absolutely. So we're offering anyone who's interested in having a conversation, we're jumping in. We're able to show you under the hood. We're going to be able to attach it to your type of workflow, and then it's going to be a matter of us really having a healthy conversation around what this means in terms of transforming how you're currently doing business. So I want to get this over to Ben here as quickly as possible. And before I can do that, we have a running joke in the office to say no to SQL. Now, I know that that's not practical in 2016 just yet, but this whole NoSQL mindset is going to be taking the market by storm. Now, a lot of the enterprise customers that are on this call right now are tooled for SQL. In other words, they have entire teams and resources that are experts in Microsoft SQL Server. So as a result of that, we said until then, let us use a part of the tool set that we've developed, and let's create a SQL Server data pipe. Now, what this is allowing you to do is within a matter of a few weeks time or a week time, we're able to install and get everything up and running for you to be able to create forms in iFormBuilder, no matter what the structure is or anything that's happening within the form, from parent forms to subforms inside of subforms. And then whenever a record gets submitted, it's automatically going to be creating a row, a new row of data in your SQL Server. This is going to be in real time. It's going to allow you to structure your database however you need it to be fit. And then from there, you're able to continue your workflow in terms of what your reporting is and all of your other enterprise functions that you have happening in the back end. Ben's going to show just a quick example of what the SQL Server data pipe is. I like to say that it's transforming how quickly groups are able to spin off new projects and get new forms pumping data into their SQL Server. It eventually is going to evolve away from SQL Server. So again, all of Gnosis is built on the NoSQL environment, and that's going to allow us to also be able to go backwards and structure the data to easily be consumed into the SQL Server. But it is definitely an enterprise feature. It's an enterprise product that is helping groups in a wide variety of formats. So with that said, I want to turn this over to Ben Ray, and Ben is going to walk us through a couple standard workflows and some of the neat things that he's doing. What he's also showing is the way that users are defining their problems, and then ultimately how the technology is allowing different constituents and different stakeholders within the workflow to interact and have access to that data. So with that said, I'm going to turn this over to Ben.
Thanks, Ryan. All right, so everyone should be able to see my screen now. So the first thing that I wanted to go over was just a quick workflow using the SQL Server data pipe, right? So typically you have folks out in the field capturing a variety of different types of data. This example I'm going to show today will be a work order. And the traditional way to do it is let's capture a bunch of information. Then once you get the information captured, you store it in iFormBuilder, download your Excel file, and then you upload it into your SQL database. Or another, maybe getting towards the augmentation or modification is really capturing the data, and then once it's stored in iFormBuilder, you write an API to pull data from that server and then write it to your SQL database. Now that requires a developer a lot of work on your end to really build that out. Now what this has done is really take iFormBuilder data. When it hits iFormBuilder server, it's automatically sent over into SQL Server and builds a new table and flattens it and those types of features. So I just want to first show this Esri work order form, and I can see that I open up to a map here, so I can choose any of my forms out here, any of the work orders that I have. So I'm just going to choose this one here out in the middle of, it looks like Nebraska somewhere. I'm going to open up this record. Now we're going to see it has a work order when it's created, the title. I'm going to type a description of this here, so clean this booth. And then also, when's the work order due, right? We're going to say this is due on May 10th, for example. And then we can go in and enter any work that was performed with this exact work order. So again, I'm going to open this up. I can either open an existing record or have a new one. And I'm going to say it's dirt, concrete, and hit select. And then any comments or notes about what I did here, right? So finished this job. And then a photo of the work that's completed, right? So I'm just going to open up our camera here. And this is actually our annotation widget. So I'm going to just take a photo here of outdoor, and then I'm just going to circle kind of the work that we have completed. So again, I use it as a background image, open this up here and say, okay, we completed this work right over here. Hit done. That's going to be saved as a JPEG there. Now at this point, I can just choose how many hours I worked. I can sign off on this exact inspection and hit done. So that's one piece of work that has been completed for this.
And can you slow it down, just the reflectors a second behind you? So after you say it, then we see it.
Yeah, certainly. Now I'll go a bit slower here. So let's enter one more work that we have performed on this. So I'll open this up. Again, I used a sandbag and a jackhammer. And what comments did I do? Any photo, we'll say a photo is not needed, and I only worked an hour here, and I'll sign off on this one as well. Now you'll see I have 3 records that have been captured for this, right? I've did clean this toll booth, 3 things happened in this, and it totals the hours of work that were completed. If it was completed or not, we'll say yes. At this point, I can simply hit done. Now what this is going to do is submit it to the iFormBuilder server, but then what it's also going to do is submit it directly to a SQL database. Now the key here is that it's instantaneous, right? So I open this up, I'm able to see here's just our Razor SQL, our environment. And I can simply go into here and just view the contents of this. Now you'll see I have 3 records in here, right? These are the 3 subform instances that I submitted here. It has all the details about when I cleaned it, all these types of things. So again, that's instantaneous. Every new record I submit will be pushed directly into here as a flattened table as a new record. If you have a new form and you set up, it's actually going to build a new table here. So you'll see some of the other tests we were doing. It builds new tables as needed, and it can account for new columns and all those types of things. So it's very flexible, and if you were to build something like this yourself, it's going to take a lot of time, and you're going to really have to understand our data structure, but we've kind of taken the load off you there. So again, any form you have can be submitted and go into a SQL Server environment, account for new tables, it'll be flattened, and this is all available today. So I guess if there's not any questions on that, I'll move kind of over to our next demo that I did want to show that's using a little more of a workflow engine. So what I'm going to do is actually pass the screen back to Barrett here, and we're going to be able to fill out a form. Okay, so what you'll see here, the workflow I want to go over is kind of a delivery workflow. So what actually happens in this, and the current, I'll just set the stage for this, is that we're a shipping company and we ship data or information from one warehouse to maybe another, right? These are going to be high value assets. So I mean anything from like maybe washing machines or I guess bigger items that you're shipping from one place to another. So the current workflow now is that a customer request comes in of what they want to ship. Once that gets to the warehouse, then the warehouse person has to walk that piece of paper down to the warehouse floor, hand it to the guy. The guy's going to write down everything that's on this order manifest and then send it out to the field. And then what it's going to do is once everything's loaded on the truck, they're going to move it over to the truck's going to drive to the next warehouse, hand that piece of paper to the guy who's unloading the truck and confirm that everything is in the truck. After that, they're going to basically take that piece of paper and then email it out or scan it and then send it out to a customer. Now that workflow there is, I mean, pretty basic, pretty straightforward of what folks have been doing for a very long time, but we were kind of proposed with this challenge to really solve this, right? I mean, right now there's a lot of issues with, now you have to take an hour to maybe walk down to the warehouse, make sure it's going to the right guy, make sure you're entering the right information, and that really took a lot of time there. Now also just room for error, right? It's only a piece of paper. So if that piece of paper gets lost at any time, there could be specific issues associated with that. And really it's just, I mean, it's not a smooth workflow at the end of the day. They wanted something a lot quicker. So really kind of what we did is we kind of put our problem solving hats on, thought through this process and said, hey, let's substitute this, right? Let's build a form that mimics this workflow. So we did that first. Now that worked really well, but we wanted to move into kind of really automating all of this, right? Everywhere from, well, the work order gets submitted from a customer. Now we need to build a new form. Now we need to build a finalized PDF report and email out to the customer. We can shave a ton of time off the current workflow that they're doing by doing this. And what we're going to see here is basically a web form. And this web form is going to say, let's pretend that an order came in. And sorry, just give me 1 minute while we get the screen situated here. But an order came in, and maybe a person in the office is going to be submitting the shipment request form, right? They're going to say it went to door 1A. We're going to use shipment number 999 for testing purposes. And we're going to say this delivery is from Barrett Johannesson, and we'll put her at our office here. And maybe we're going to ship this to somewhere down in, let's say, Charlottesville. And we can put the full address in there. Now what's going to happen, as you'll see, is once she submits this, so we'll hit submit, what it's actually going to do is create a new record in the iFormBuilder database and automatically assign it out to the warehouse floor. So again, this first piece, I mean, the first thing we did was they'll go into iFormBuilder, create a new record in there, not really a clean web interface, so just build a simple web form, hit submit, and now this record's going to be assigned to me. So what I'm able to do is just pull down and sync my device. and this is going to assign the record to my device that has all the information that was just entered from the person at the office. Right, so I'm going to open this up. I'm going to see here's my door number, my shipment number, where it's from, where it's going to, and now I'm actually going to scan all items that are going on the shipment here. So again, I have a few barcodes here. These are not high value assets. You're going to see a Matchbox car and a few other things. Again, so we're going to first scan this first barcode. Then we're going to just continue scanning a few different items here, right? So I'm going to scan another barcode here, and I have a few other ones I just want to scan here quickly. So again, as these things are being loaded, you're scanning each one of them individually. So we're going to just scan, let's say, 4 of them today. And you see what we're doing is we're combining these all into one single field. Now this way we can see here's everything that is loaded on this truck. So we're going to see there's 4 items, and here's all the IDs of these items. Now at this point, we're ready to hand this over to the driver. The driver can go deliver the truck to the shipment location. So we're just going to submit this. Once I'm done loading the truck, my job is done. Right, so now this truck is going to drive over to the warehouse where it's delivering it to, out in Charlottesville. And when it gets to Charlottesville, what we're going to do is essentially perform the same thing. We're going to perform a delivery receiving form here. So when it comes in, we want to make sure, right, did anything get stolen out of the truck, did misplaced items or anything damaged, those types of things. Right, so we want to enter what door it came in on. So it came on 10A because this is a different warehouse. The shipment number, again, was 999. We're going to see that from the truck driver. And then we're able to go in and scan these items again. Now, in this scenario, we scan 4 items in, and let's say we're only going to scan maybe 2 items out. Let me find the barcode here. We're going to scan this item out and this item out as well. Now, the issue here is that there's only 2 items, right? So we scan 4 in, but we only scan 2 out. Now, this is kind of a problem. Now, the person on the shop floor does not need to know that instantaneously, right? We want to have them capture everything, submit this, and then they're actually going to get a manifest of what issues arose from this, right? So there's 2 things that are going to be missing. So we're going to open up and just sign off on this. I received the delivery, I unloaded everything, I'm going to hit done. Now at this point, it's going to submit up to the server, and what we can actually do, and you're going to see here in just a second, I'm going to get a notification with everything that is missing on my device here. So again, I just got a notification that says missing items, right? Here's the 2 missing items. I did not scan these 2 items, so they're going to be notified to me. At this point, I can simply sync my device, and I'm also going to get a manifest of the 2 items that were missing. And I need to figure out why they are missing and what we're going to do about them. So let's open up this one here. I think it's the bottom one. Now here's the 2 items that are missing, right? What's my employee name? I'd enter that. At this point, I'm going to go into each issue that I'm seeing. So here's the first item. And did we resolve it, right? So did we find the issue? If I say it's resolved, I'm going to say maybe we said it was lost, and now it's found. And then we can say, was the truck rechecked again? Yes, it was rechecked. Hit done. And then we're going to say the same thing happened with this item too, right? It was resolved, it was rechecked, and again, the item was lost and found. Now at this point, we're going to say both of these items are resolved at this point. We can simply go back, we can hit done and resolve these 2 issues. Now at this point, what is actually going to happen is we're going to run a quick request here. And what it's going to do is basically do a finalized PDF of everything that's been occurring. So this is going to actually contain all the details of what happened in this report. Here's the 5 or 4 items and their issues. So this is actually going to be emailed out directly to myself. So let me just run into my email here, and I'll just show you that it kind of built a finalized PDF. So let's open this up. And again, here's the latest one I got, delivery notification. I can see this download here. Again, this is a customized PDF just from an HTML template. I know it's not the prettiest PDF, but this can be customized to meet your needs, right? It shows here's the 2 things that were delivered. Then here's the other things that were lost and found. They are resolved by myself, Ben Ray. And that's kind of the full workflow from start to finish. So I guess what I wanted to go over here is the 3 main aspects that are used in this. The first one is a web form, right? I mean, typically folks fill this out from their mobile device, but in a full workflow, I mean, there are some office folks or folks who are sitting at a computer. They need a web form to fill this out. So again, they go into here, fill out the details on the web form. The next component is how we compare the 4 items scanned and the 2 items that were scanned at the receiving, right? Those are 2 issues that we need to resolve. So the automatic resolution, that actually built a parent record and 2 subform records with the 2 things that were missing, right? These two IDs here on my device. and those were assigned out to you. So again, think about maybe a pass-fail scenario where you have an inspection with 10 questions and 3 of them fail, right? You want to go back and do a re-inspection. So you don't care about the stuff that passed, but you care about the things that fail. So again, we could have that automatically reassigned out to you. And then the third thing that I know a lot of folks are really looking for, and some folks are using today, is the report generation, right? I mean, you want a custom report. Our report's great for basic needs, but if you want a custom report with your logo here and fields side by side and those types of things, that can all be accomplished using the third aspect there. So again, there is 3 main pieces to this workflow. The forms, as you saw, they're pretty straightforward and easy to build, but this really went from, let's first substitute this, right? Let's get the forms in the field, make sure they work, and then let's automate this whole process, right? So comparing the 4 items to the 2 items, building the automatic report now. Pretty much, I mean, there's three folks involved, right? The person in the office who fills out the form, the person in the shop floor delivering this, and then the person who's receiving this. And that's really all that needs to take place. So this workflow kind of is just standalone. It works great, and folks are using it kind of day in and day out. Now, I believe we were going to do like a poll here on seeing what 3 of these workflows, I guess, are appealing to you, and kind of how to best move forward with this. So again, what workflows are you most interested in? I went over 3 of them here. So PDF generator was the last one. Web forms was the first aspect I showed, and then kind of the inspection reconciliation, right? I mean, or delivery reconciliation. All right, so I guess we'll show kind of the full results here. So it looks like web forms kind of took the win on this one, 71%, which is something that we've built kind of custom for this workflow and can build custom for really any folks' workflows there. Next is PDF generation. We've seen that as, I mean, people want a custom report, right? Our report does not fulfill all the needs that people have sometimes, and if they want a custom report, that can be built with a few different tools. And then the inspection reconciliation, it looks like they all got a good amount of votes, which is good to see.
Right, and I think it should be noted that a lot of our groups, and actually the bread and butter of the iFormBuilder product, and what we're also seeing happening on the workflow automation side is that groups that have one very specific workflow, they're going with an industry-specific solution. Now, where iFormBuilder and Zerion is thriving is when there's groups that need to do in asset management, and then groups that need to do inspections, and then groups that need to do different types of just general data capture. It's the 1,000 forms in your pocket. It's 1,000 workflows in your pocket as well in terms of what groups are able to do. And what we're committed to in the next 12 months is to create all of these tools inside of the Zerion ecosystem. And it allows us to truly be able to, roll out and allow for seamless integration between, you get to define what your full solution looks like and what tools you need to use, what Zerion tools you need to use within that, and then also allow for your existing back-end ERP systems or whatever it might be to also interact with the systems. So this is a good testament in terms of the direction of where you, our customers that we appreciate greatly are want the platform to go and are taking the platform into new directions. So yes, perfect. So Ben, is there anything else that you wanted to just end on there, or
yeah, so I mean, I hope this was kind of helpful to see. I mean, just some workflows that folks are doing, right? Those were 3 main chunks, and we've worked with folks in the past doing, let's build a web form for you or a PDF generator or something. But a lot of this, I mean, it really comes down to the full workflow, right? I mean, a full workflow may encompass 3 or 5 or maybe even 10 of these types of custom services that we would provide for folks. So that's really kind of where we're pushing in the future. And first, I mean, let's see which ones work the best for you, which is maybe PDF, maybe web forms, maybe inspection reconciliation, or a few that we haven't even thought about yet. So we're kind of looking to see what folks want to do, and I mean, we're professional problem solvers. That's kind of where we thrive.
And just to close, thank you so much, Ben. As a commitment to you and your companies and your commitment to our platform and our tools and our people, we thank you for being iFormBuilder and Zerion customers. moving forward, we're going to be reaching out to each and every one of you. We want to hear what other problems or what else you need to have solved in order for you to take your projects to the next level. We've been having some phenomenal conversations with some very large organizations that are truly selecting iFormBuilder and Zerion because of our focus on mission critical enterprise deployments and services. So if we can help with just having a better understanding of what it is you're focused on, or whatever type of friction you see within your organization or the way that your company is leveraging data, we want to help, and we'll figure out how to build a business off of it later. But right now, it's a matter of getting a deep understanding of who you are and what it is that you would love to see happen. So what we're going to be able to see here is we have some upcoming events. We definitely have, I want you to visit our community forums, our future webinars. Barrett has been doing a phenomenal job with the FormBuilder certification. We will have that live FormBuilder certification in May. I think it would be great for everyone to come in for our Power User Summit. The Power User Summit, we like to have intimate events, 50 to 100 people, and it's kind of a show and tell meets, talk to the developers, meet the team, get a better understanding of what's possible, and it really allows us to truly accelerate how we're able to work together, and also get some phenomenal ideas on even the things that we've learned at the Power User Summits over the past 2 years have been incredible, just from what customers are able to do with our off-the-shelf software and be able to take it to the new heights. So thank you everyone for spending the last hour with us, and really looking forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you all, and with that, we'll say goodbye.